be wrong with it. One, your needle could be bent, or something's loose on the inside. But for me, it was just that fear factor of not wanting to mess up. So what we did is we messed up a lot together that day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what we need to do is figure out what color you are. And I think that we'll
So what are you doing now? Just taking all of the excess?
What I'm doing now? So what I do is I set her with a colorless powder, and now I'm taking a flocking sponge, and I'm just pressing that powder into her skin. I want her skin to have a beautiful, beautiful glow. And I really did bring out, I wanted to have a glow and matte at the same time. But I really put on a lot of bronzer because it's part of the look that we're going to create.
I noticed you use a different airbrush for your bronzer.
Mm-hmm.
What was the purpose?
I let a student use my airbrush machine at the last class, and it got clogged. And it's okay. I'm sure it wasn't their fault, but it got clogged. So for time's sake, I had another gun.
Okay.
And that can happen.
If there was a different method.
Now, what's really good, if you're doing, let's say you're doing a photo shoot, you're doing bridesmaids, and you're going to be doing people back to back. It's good to have two guns because once you have black pigment in your, or dark pigments, you want to have one for dark or black or colors and one for skin tones. It's a lot quicker, a lot easier. If you're doing abs and sculpturing and contouring, you can have one dedicated toward that. So that's something that you don't have to have it first, but it's definitely something, good thing I had it here, otherwise I would have taken this apart or borrowed Deborah's. And that's real. Stuff like that happens. Look up one.
You said you use synthetic brushes also. What do you like using those for?
Synthetic brushes are good for anything that's cream and liquid.
just going back and forth. It's like a long dash.
All right.
That's a great question, though. And it's sort of not really fair right now because Kate has beautiful skin anyway.
Oh, you're
I
just...
have one client that I airbrushed, and she makes me put tissue. She's very high-end. I get well, actually Kate assisted me last time. And she could, it's like, it was so intense for this child. Wasn't funny for her, but it was intense, it was, yeah. She walks in and she's like, she brings this dress in, and it's on this whole bust, and it had just been flown in this thing from New York, and jewels that were flown in from Paris, and it was crazy. So she says to Kate, have an assistant, I'll take the plastic off my dress, I don't hit them. It's very, yeah, it's very, but anyway, she makes me put tissue all the way around her hairline, because she thinks I'm going to airbrush her hairline. Christmas party.
Are you contouring or highlighting?
Good question. I'm highlighting. I mixed a liquid pearl, look up for me, and a white and like a medium tone peach for skin, just to give a little bit of controlled shine. Bridge of the nose, top of the cheekbone.
Hey, Alphonse.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling them
Okay.
about...
I took some of the liquid blush from the airbrush system, and I just put it on her lips. So I want to create that really kind of like light, almost kind of a little bit like early 70s type of lip color on her. And so sometimes when you put concealer over the lips, right, everything turns ash. But I'm going for like this beautiful, wet, dreamsicle color. So it's something new that I've been playing with, and we've just it's been really fun and they work great that way. So neutralize.
What are you doing?
I'll put like hydro blush on the lips. It's like my new favorite thing.
Okay, look at Kate's face. It's finished airbrush. Now I'm going to add a little bit of contour to her cheek, lift her cheekbones just a little bit. And then I'm probably going to warm her up just a little bit with some sun kiss. And then I'm going to finish with some quartz, which is some sugar on her cheek. Okay? So, what did I say I was going to do now?
All right, so I basically just.
I should contour her with shadow or shade? Shadow or shade?
Medium one. So basically, one of the questions I get all the time is, how do you carry everything you need to carry in such a little box? And Deborah, how does she carry everything she carries in her little bag? You have to get rid of the componentry. The componentry will weigh you down. So we use these artist lip palettes. We put all of our lipsticks, only a third of the bullet. You cut off, you slice up, and you put in here. We put them into, I put mine into warms and cools, light to dark, any which way you want. But if you took 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, if you took 32 tubes of lipstick, how big of a little bag is that going to take? And you know which one you want, and how many you're going to have to pick up before you find it. Oh, it's the last one. It's Murphy's Law. Who has time for that? And of course, I have 32 shades, and do I feel I have the perfect shade for it? No. So I'm going to take a little bit of a white lip pigment with a little bit of this peach color. I'm going to mix it and create whatever it is that I need. So this is one way. You have to get rid of the weight of all of your componentry.
Where do you find
This is from a Korean company called Mikushuro, but Japanesque. We get them from Japanesque. You can buy them on our website as well. Question? Say that? What happened? When if someone has blemishes, airbrush is the best thing. For the simple reason you use color theory and you neutralize it. So, Jennifer here, beautiful skin, has a few little blemishes. She even has a few blemishes that are raised. Maybe, and I don't know, maybe they're a little raised and disturbed. That's okay. Airbrush, you can basically neutralize any color, but you can't neutralize texture. So you can use color theory, and by doing the small little dots, you can make it disappear. You can get rid of a port wine stain, tattoo cover-up, piece of cake. Piece of cake with airbrush. You can't do that with foundation. Okay? Brands that you like more so than others, it depends what works for you. I have some Shuyamura, I have some YSL, I have a lot of True product in there. I might have a MAC or two. You kind of, whatever works for you. There's one color by Gemma Kid called Peggy. It is the perfect, most difficult shade to find, and it's like $60 for this itty bitty little bullet this big, but it's like that ultimate like olive tone nude that's hard to find, and I've been to every company.
And it's Peggy.
It's called Peggy by Gemma Kid. You buy it at Bloomingdale's, at the Space and K if they have it there. All right.
What are the benefits of putting things on your stainless steel palette versus putting it on your hand?
Well, one, it's sanitary.
Yeah.
Two,
So-
my hand would, I do, I know I'm bad, but I've done it 3 times today. Sometimes I use my hands to take off excess, but what happens, you end up with a ton of product on. And if next thing you know, you go and you're running around at a wedding, or a bride, or a client that has an Oscar de la Renta dress, or you're backstage, and you get this on someone's that.
I was just wondering if you're like warming up the product on your hand or something.
Sometimes you will. Sometimes you will, but I can also manipulate it on my palette.
I have a question. How do you charge for house calls? Like, do you guys charge based on maybe like the type of products you use on them that are more expensive, or is it the time that you put into it? Like, how do you go about, what methods do you guys use?
What's the question? How do you charge?
What kind of charging like your house clients? Like, is it based on product time? Is it above? Do you have flat rates usually, or is it, you know, more clients are loaded, so you'll charge them more?
No, you would never
No.
do that. Just because someone is an actor or actress, you wouldn't charge them more. I think that's weird for people to do that. I think a couple things. One, depends on how experienced you are. Two, how many other gigs you have going on, whether you want to take something that you're going to get paid less for than you would if you were doing, you know, $1,500 a day gig. So what you want to do is get in the habit of not turning anything down. However, avoid canceling something because you have a gig that pays more money. That is a big no-no. Alphonse, do you have anything else?
Absolutely. Requires more than that, huh? You know, charging is, I mean, do I charge today what I charged when 20 years ago? No. Times have changed as well as your rates change with what you have as far as your credentials.
But she's asking, did you hear the question?
Would you please repeat the question so I can answer appropriately?
Based on like products, you say for example,
No.
on her, like you would use like
Oh.
your like all elite, super expensive, exclusive makeup on her. Would you charge her more for that versus somebody that's maybe going with more basic look that doesn't require maybe is like, you know?
I'm not going to bring different makeup depending if someone wants a basic look or they want an over-the-top dramatic look. I'm always going to use the makeup that I feel the most comfortable with and that I believe in 100%. So therefore, I don't have the cheap box and the expensive box. I know what you're saying. So if I'm doing your makeup and you want brown and beige on, or you want black, blue, and purple on, it's going to be the same rate. So I wouldn't change anything for that. I think a lot of it just depends on if it's just a basic application, if it is something that's going to take several hours, half a day, full day. You kind of have to build in your cost of goods as well. You know, sometimes where I do have two different things, like my lashes. I have lashes sometimes that range for $8 and lashes that range for $35 to $45. It kind of depends on the look, depends on the client, and depends on what's right for that moment. So I don't know if I'm really able to answer the question, but what I have in this box is what I take to any job that I do.
So what would be the price range? What price range to get something like this done?
Well, that's really something you're going to want to really, work on.
For instance, my client that I do, the one that she assisted with, I know for a fact that if the gig is at 2 o'clock, that she'll show up at 5. I know without a doubt she'll be 3 hours late, so she gets charged either a half day or a full day rate. And we spent about 45 minutes with her, and she was charged for a full day. It's called portal to portal, meaning the minute I walk down my steps, park, get there, come back to the minute I get home. And the first time I did her, I charged her probably 1/5 of what she's being charged now because I got that I'm not sitting around, it's not on my dime that I'm waiting for 3 hours. Does that make sense? Could I do that in the beginning of my career? No. I was just happy to get work back then. Sometimes I still am just happy to get work, right? We're like real estate people. We're unemployed at the end of every month. Got to go out and get a new group of people. Okay, now what I'm using on her is I did a very nude lip. Okay. And I'm actually using on her, if you look on her, on Kate, I'm actually using complementary contrast colors, aren't I? I'm using an orange color on her lip and a beautiful, beautiful kind of plum purple on her eye. I've warmed her skin up a whole bunch. The shading might be just a little strong depending on.
She's done?
Yep.
I've slowed down because now I'm behind. Slow down out behind. Okay, good. Let's see. All right. I'm basically done. The last I'm gonna do is some eyebrows.
Let me help you down, and you can go down and let them look at you up close. Okay? There you go. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Deborah.
What made me want to do
It looks really good, Val. Like I would have never thought to do that.
and see, I like using complementary contrast. Isn't it good to know your color wheel? Yeah. She has pretty neutral skin, but I really wanted to do a strong, would I do a wing eye for her going toward the corner? Maybe, I don't know. Depends on her. I couldn't wear that because my eyes are the wrong shape. She can wear that. I think it looks fine on her. She's young and she's darling, so it works. The reason I went with a very nude lip is because I like to use strong one or the other, not necessarily both. That's a very European look when you have strong eyes, strong lips. I went a little stronger on her shades than I probably really should have. I think it's a little strong, but I think it's fine. It's kind of rosy-like and blushy-like. I'm going to start cleaning up because I have a white protection while I'm brushing.
Oh, did you put pigment on that brush?
Yes, I did. I used a brow gel that has pigment in it. It's a blonde. I just kind of wanted to, I don't really want a heavy looking brow. And Jennifer's done. There were two questions.